Yeah, it's your boy Danny J. Quick, and I'm here with Kyron Silva. And we want to thank you for joining the Four Tales podcast.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.
We're about to talk some comics and get a little bit controversial. Everything from indie books to movie deal level commercial. With no rehearsals when we converse to coerce you. And then we do the quick takes and try to get to the person. So join us and get your comic book a few more sales once a week wherever you pod. It's Four Tales. Once a week wherever you pod. It's Four Tales.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Taurus Comics in collaboration with Fourth Wall Production respectfully brings to you the 176th episode of the Four Tales podcast. I am your host, Kyron Silva from Taurus Comics. Across the way is the writer of the Violet Vigilante Ace Blade, Danger Quick, and together we are your two award-winning blurred comic creators here to help you find your next favorite comic. We are live on the Age to Geekdom Network by Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and I think TikTok
Instagram?
right now. No, I didn't do Instagram. TikTok also. So if you're listening or watching us live, thank you for your support. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and share and review this podcast because all your positive reviews and interactions help us reach a bigger audience. Danny.
Kyron, man, how you doing?
My boy is back. My boy is back. Last week was rough without you, bro. I'm
nah, man. Y'all had fun. Y'all did a good job, man. That was
big shout out to Brian Lambert for stepping in
out.
At almost the last minute because
Brian
someone
Lambert,
decided
man.
he wanted to go to Jamaica, not tell a brother. So
I went to Florida first of all, and like I said, I thought I was going to be in place in time, but my wife had other plans. We ended up going out to the Jacksonville Fair, which was a scene. I'll just say that, and we had a good time. But shout out to the good folks in Jacksonville, man. It's a beautiful, beautiful city.
Is that close to Jamaica?
I'm closer to North Carolina, but no.
All right. Okay. I didn't know.
It's in Florida.
It's in Florida. All right. The pictures you posted were really nice. So I hope you had fun.
I did. We got to hang out on our host's neighbor's boat for a little bit, which was pretty cool.
I am self-conscious right now. That sucks because of you.
It's all right. Just let it all out, Kyron.
No. Brian is in the chat saying Danny is rapping. Danny's been rapping for a while. I don't know if you've seen some of his old videos.
Don't do it.
No, I'm gonna find some of those videos of you rapping more.
No, don't do it. It's never good, but it's always fun. For me at least. Okay. And also I played.
That's what she said.
Dang, that's terrible. That's terrible. But yeah, man. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back in place, and I got some work to do this week. But happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Well, I mean, we're gonna see each other next Friday.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Paige Alfred says he needs a Beer and Bullets crossover review.
Let's do it. Absolutely.
Well, we don't do reviews. We just interview.
I think we should, though. I was gonna say this earlier. I think that me and you should do some either review videos for the for the Four Tales podcast page on YouTube. That's an inside joke, Javon, as opposed to Danny the honorable one, as opposed to Morgan the dishonorable one. It's an inside joke. But anyway,
Javon up here having jokes with you, not me. I get it. I'm not part of that group chat, apparently. I'm just part of the Hotshot Ace Blade crossover chat. That's all. But yeah. All right. So before we bring our guests on, this is our last interview of the year.
Yep.
We have Fortnite Friday next week, and then as usual, we're going to take all December off. We'll come back to January.
That's right.
Any highlights of this year you want to talk about, bring up, discuss?
I think we had a good year, man. We got to see my favorite part of this year is that I got to meet you in person, and
that was cool. That was
nothing else is going to top
and
that
and
until
Javon
Javon and Morgan and
and
everybody
Morgan and
at
Waller.
Heroes Con,
Yeah.
which was great.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part of the year as far
Okay.
as the show. What about
Okay.
you?
I mean, definitely meeting you was great. I think the X-Men, crossover or 97 review
Yeah,
thing that we did,
that was
that
this
was
year.
fun. Was that this? That was this year, right? Wasn't that this year?
Was it?
I don't. Wait, dang. Was that this year?
Was that this
I
year?
swear it was.
It might have been. It
But
might. I don't know.
crap, it wasn't this year.
No,
We
that was
that was last year.
X-Men 97 was definitely like in
Oh
2024.
my god, you're right. That was. You're right. Okay.
It
Well,
was fun though.
the whole year's just been great. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But speaking of Heroes Con,
Mhm.
our guest today actually met at Heroes Con, not this time because he
Okay.
was there this year, but the year before. We got a recipient of the 2011 Ink Pop Award for Outstanding Achievement in Comic Art. We got the writer, artist, creator of Molly Danger, and Dudley Datson and the Forever Machine.
Mhm.
We got one of the artists of the hit series Black and the artist of this issue of Cobalt from back in the day.
Way
Oh,
back in the day.
Yeah, way back in the day.
that's
I was
right.
the man has his own Wikipedia page, and that's the only reason I knew that you drew this. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, wait a minute, I got that book.
And Cobalt was
Uh,
such a weird series for Milestone. It was
It was
not like
it was kind of ahead of its time when you think about it.
yeah, it was
yeah.
definitely different. But Danny did do a great job in introducing you. But do you mind giving the couple people that maybe not might not be familiar with you some of your an introduction for yourself?
Oh, sure. My name is Jamal Igle, and for the last 35 years or so, I have been a comic book professional. Among all the titles that Danny mentioned, I've worked on the Superman titles for DC. I worked on a lot for DC: Firestorm, Nightwing, Superman, Supergirl, War of the Supermen, Dawn, World of New Krypton. I'm the creator of Molly Danger, the writer and penciler of Molly Danger, as well as the de facto co-editor of the book. I'm also the co-creator of The Wrong Earth with Tom Pyre from Ahoy Comics,
That's
the
great.
co-creator of Dudley Datson and the Forever Machine with Scott Snyder for Comixology. Um, what else I'm
Oh,
a professor at the School of Visual New York.
we don't need to be on here anymore. He can just talk about his accolades for the next half hour. We're good.
We'll just sit back.
I
Just sit
know.
back
Just
and listen.
let him go. Let him roll.
Somebody once said that my CV could kill a man. So
No, I
Real
love
quick,
it.
sorry to do this. Paige and Brian said, I want to see a hot shot
Hot
ace
shot
play
ace play
crossover.
cover.
Man, you know
Uh,
what? I would
don't
love to
do it.
show these. I would love
Don't
to
show.
show.
We actually just got them today for no.
I'm just saying,
Don't
if you want
don't
to go
do
back
that.
and pause it, you want to go back and just pause it real quick. I'll just do that. And you,
See.
what?
All right, Mike. Y'all see, Kyron is the one that controls the show. But anyway, yeah, we do got the hot shot ace play crossover coming. But Mr. Igle, man, it's an honor to talk to you.
It
And
it's
is.
nice to see you.
I the one question I am very curious about your perspective. Like, I think our audience is full of comic book fans and historians, so they probably know the controversy that came with the I don't it's not even really a controversy, but all the things that happened with that Firestorm issue
Mhm.
back in the day. I wondered, when you look back on that, do you see that as a help to your career, or more of a, a hindrance to your career, or maybe it was just something that you learned from?
I I don't necessarily see it as being a hindrance, but at the same time, I think what it what it did was sort of shook me out of the whole kumbaya
Mm,
idea that I had about being being a Black creative in comics, and especially at that time, and being involved with a a beloved. I mean, I love Firestorm as a character, and I know there's a lot of people who love Firestorm as a character, but I think what the overall situation that happened, and just to give the audience like a real quick synopsis. I was the artist on Firestorm. I was the technically the third artist on Firestorm, because Chris Cross started the series with Dan Jolly, and then Chris Batista did an issue before I came on board. And I came on board and became the series artist on issue 8. And for that run of Firestorm, it had introduced a young Black character named Jason Rush to be the new Firestorm, but they didn't reveal what had happened to the original Firestorm, Ronnie Raymond, until Identity Crisis, which had been, I guess, running late at that point. And with, I think it was either 5 or 6, I don't remember which issue it was, but they revealed that Ronnie Raymond had been killed by the Shadow Thief. So the whole mystery up until that was revealed was what happened to Ronnie. And when that was revealed, it made a lot of people very angry. Unnecessarily so. What happened afterwards, and this was right around the time when DC was introducing a bunch of different characters. They introduced Jaime Reyes, the Blue Beetle. They introduced I think it's Kate Bishop. No, Kate Bishop's from Marvel. The new Manhunter, the version of Manhunter. I forget what her name is. I was confusing her with Kate Kane, because they also introduced Kate Kane around that time as well. They were introducing a bunch of diverse versions of longtime characters. That did not sit well with some people. So
Kate Spencer was who you're thinking of.
Yes, Kate Spencer. So yes, Javon, the New 52, pre-New 52, actually pre-New 52, because that was Infinite Crisis era. So that was pre-New 52. So what happened was, when DC, back in the message board days, and DC had their massive DC message board, I went on the message board one day and saw a thread called "Ditch the Black Dude," which ended up being like one of the most, honestly, like one of the most racist things I've ever seen. It was like, they were like, basically, they had taken this personally. Certain people had taken this personally, and started posting like racist, hateful things. Then started linking the DC message board to stormfront.org.
Oh,
which
wow.
is the white supremacist website. So
wow.
I think, if I remember correctly, it was either like within a week or 2 weeks, that one thread ended up getting like 30,000 replies.
Jesus.
And it wasn't the only one that was being bombarded that way. Like, the entire message board was being bombarded. So DC ended up having to shut the entire message board down for 3 weeks to clean out the entire cache of posts, and then reopened it for a while under heavy moderation.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Man.
So, and this was 2006 that this happened. So it wasn't and the thing is, funny part about it, it wouldn't be the first time that I found myself in the middle of a fan created controversy at DC Comics. So,
And that happened before that?
It happened after, actually, because I also ended up creating Kerfuffle when I was on Supergirl.
Oh yeah. You're just a lightning bolt of controversy.
I know. Plus, I've got a
Right.
big mouth, and that doesn't help.
Javon has that same problem. Javon has that same problem. But
Jamal's a
I
pot
really,
stirrer.
I really don't. Jamal is a pot stirrer. Javon, really? Okay. The pot calling the kettle. Anyway, no, I don't see it as a problem though. I think you should. I think we should all speak up.
Oh no, absolutely.
Yes.
And I've only become, more forthright with my opinions since then. But I think, going back to answer the original question, the whole like kumbaya, like everybody let's get along kind of idea was rapidly like slapped out of the back of my head. And it didn't, like I said, it didn't hinder me. It didn't hinder my career. I would, but it made me rethink a lot of things. It made me rethink my approach to dealing with fans and fandom, and and having, also because I was at DC and I was on contract, I had to sort of navigate the corporate structure of DC and of the politics of being involved with such a large organization. So yeah, I mean, it ultimately, I think for me, ended up like changing my calculus a lot, or at least beginning to change my calculus and still does to this day. I really, I approach things in a much different way. The first thing that I try to make people understand is I never say anything online that I would not say to your face.
Nice. Okay.
As Javon said, don't get him started on Man of Steel.
With the amount of time that you've been in industry, 35 years now,
Right.
what would you say is the biggest change that you've seen in the industry from when you first started to now? Like, what would you think is the biggest change of things that were done?
Oh man, too many things. We've gone from time when everything was revolving around being able to ship things on time. So like I used to have a pile of FedEx boxes. Like I used to have FedEx drop off a pile of boxes so that I could ship artwork out, to now everything being digital, at least in terms of production and delivery. Like you can still work by hand, but you're scanning pages, you're sending pages off, you're inking, coloring, doing all the pre-press and production work on the computer, and in some cases drawing digitally as well. So that's changed the technology around digital production as far as like the actual drawing changed, because it used to be the evolution of going from like doing a digital treatment on your pencils way back in the day, say like 2003 2004, to using Clip Studio Paint and Procreate to produce comics, or in some cases people still drawing pages in Photoshop, but the Photoshop engine and the brushes choices are so much more, are more vast than they were previously. Like personally, I love working in Clip Studio Paint, so and that's something that I've really embraced over the past year, especially.
I found a lot of artists now are switching from Photoshop to Clip Studio, just because of how easy it is to work
Well,
with that.
I still color in Photoshop, but I find for drawing, the interface in Clip Studio is much better, personally.
And it's cheaper too.
Yeah, well, there's that as well. But
I thought they switched. Didn't they switch to the subscription model too, though?
I've got a perpetual model, so
Yeah,
I've had Clip Studio since it was Mango Studio. So
we have a question here from Brian that says to Jamal, have you taken a more independent route as you take it more independent has helped you get away from these type of, I'm assuming, toxic fandoms?
Well, the thing is, for it's not that is not to say that it's been smooth sailing. I mean, I had a couple of years where I had to deal with Comicsgate goons, flooding me on Twitter. But then I left Twitter, so I don't see Comicsgate people anymore, and frankly, couldn't give a shit. But um, but taking a more independent route. The thing is the projects that I do are personal projects, and you have to kind of seek them out. They're not, I'm not, working on a Superman title right now. I don't have that bullseye on me, so I can, and they're my characters. So, I don't really care if you don't like what I'm doing. It's not your story. They're not your characters. They're my characters. The only people that I have to please in some cases are the guys at Ahoy.
That is that. And
Yeah.
like Javon said, you made a conflict called Black. You weren't
Exactly.
going to get away from the smoke.
Exactly. I will tell you, like, when Kwanzaa pitched me the idea for Black at my kitchen table right here to the side, and I was like, oh yeah, I got to do this. I knew I had to do it. So
I wonder though if a conversation that I've been having a lot lately. There's a store owner here in Greensboro, Acme Comics, and we talk a lot about like projects and distribution and marketing and stuff like that.
right.
And a project like Black, that really went viral. Like you've done, I'll say most of your Kickstarters or crowdfunded projects have done very well.
Right.
Do you think that the marketing of, I don't even want to say rage bait because it shouldn't be anything that anybody's angry about,
Right.
but like a controversial subject, I guess, is good for marketing. And would you have to, not necessarily, it's not even
Well, I think I understand, Danny. I think I understand what the question that you're asking. Here's the thing. I went into working on Black knowing full well that no matter what we did or what we said, it was going to be an issue for some people. So you can't be afraid of that reaction. And here's where the marketing guy, the former marketing guy in me came in. When we were trying to figure out when we were going to launch the Kickstarter, I was the one who said to Kwanzaa and Tim, they wanted to do it the October previously. And I said to them, no, we wait for Black History Month. We wait for February. And that's when we launch.
Yeah. Get the minds on there.
Got the minds on there, set up, got the interview with the Washington Post, set up all like the early media, all the early podcasts and everything around that time. So, write it down. Like, seriously, like, you have to know when to time these things.
Yeah.
You have to know when to take advantage of these things. And like I said, like, I knew, like, as soon as Kwanzaa showed me like the one sheet with the image of Kareem, and all it says is, what if only Black people had superpowers? Like, I knew exactly who our target audience was going to be and who the haters were going to be. And to a man, they proved me right.
Yeah. But I think that's also, I mean, there's also other things. Like I just posted not so long ago, like a couple hours ago, just for Kickstarter in general. Don't start a Kickstarter so close to the holidays. So it's just understanding when the best point to launch is one thing that people, especially creators, just don't think about. They just think, oh, I'm just going to drop this comic, post a couple images, and people are going to back it. And there's so much behind the scenes that you need to worry about and think about before that even happens.
Absolutely. It's but that's just, that's marketing 101. More so than just like, having to deal with Kickstarters. That's just like the first rule of marketing, is knowing when is the most advantageous point to strike. When When do you find your prey at their weakest?
Whoa, bro.
Write that one down. Let me write that one down too.
We don't consider y'all prey,
But if
but please give
Jamal
us
says
money.
it, no. If Jamal says it, I believe it. No, man. I think all of that stuff has to come into account,
Yeah.
and I know that you've worked with Scott Schneider
Mhm.
as
Yeah,
recently as you know this title right here.
yeah.
And this right here, this
Are
was another
are
thing
you
that we
just
were talking about.
flexing all the books that you have from Jamal? Is that what's
I'm
happening
just
here?
I just
He
happened
pulled
to
out the black. He pulled out.
to flip through my collection real quick, but no.
I'll go
But
pull out
we
my
were
cobalt. Don't do it.
but I was talking to Jermaine about even with a name like Scott Snyder,
Mhm.
um you would think that people would naturally just gravitate to these titles. And with a independent title, even though Dudley Dotson was on Comixology
Right.
and published through Dark Horse, um, he was telling me that he thought that that would be enough to bring in a whole bunch of people, and then having you as co-creator, like he knew it was a book that I would like, so he just went
Right.
ahead and put it in my box. But who is responsible for marketing in a situation like that when it goes from like Comixology to the stores, and as opposed to like when you're working on DC and Marvel projects where they
Mhm.
do all that stuff.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, in the case of Comixology was working directly with Scott and his company, Best Jacket. So
Hmm.
they put together the entire deal and set up the print deal. Actually, and this was a discussion that Scott and I had, and I assume he was having it with other people involved, where we were trying to decide between whether or not to go with Dark Horse or to go with Image because Scott had other projects already at Image. And one of the things that I said to him was it's better to, in this case, diversify. You can't have absolutely everything at Image. And
Hmm.
I know that the offer that Dark Horse made to Scott was a very substantial one. So that was really the calculus was, but all of that was like, the marketing people at, both at Comixology and uh, at Dark Horse coming together and
Hmm.
making that deal happen. And to answer Javon's question, I didn't just shave the beard; I cut the
I
hair
say you
too.
got the haircut.
Oh, I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask for Javon that. So, dang it.
No, that's
So
wonderful.
yes, so
No,
yes.
we have a lot of comic book creators in our chat.
Mhm.
We interview a lot of indie comic book creators, and it's good to get a perspective from folks who've been on both sides. So I appreciate that. But
No
then
problem.
you got situations also like with what happened with Action Lab
Right.
and Molly Danger and
Yeah.
that was building that was building fans right there. Oh, my stars and garters, this guy. Y'all building fans with Molly Danger, and it's such a great character design and a story that was
Thank you.
right there for young folks.
Thank you.
Um, what do you like? What do you do in a situation like that?
Well, so I was involved with Action Lab before Action Lab actually existed.
Hmm.
When they were putting together their first Kickstarter for Fracture, and I had already known like the Action Lab guys, like Dwanch and everybody else, um, before the Sean Pryor and Sean Gabarin and everybody before Kevin Friedman, before they were officially a company. So when they did the Fracture Kickstarter and that was successful, I saw what they were doing. I saw what they were trying to doing, and I also, again, talking about the marketing, the knowing when to strike. Um, I knew that I would need an external publisher for Molly Danger. And because I didn't want to self-publish the book necessarily, because I knew I needed help as far as like getting the printing and everything done the way that I wanted to do. And I also saw an opportunity to, because they were having success with Princeless as well, and they wanted to do Free Comic Book Day, and I knew that had I taken Molly to another publisher, I would not be able to get that Free Comic Book Day platform.
Mm.
And that was really a big deal in getting Molly Danger.
Stop, Kyrie. Free Comic Book Day isn't even.
Oh yeah, Diamond's
really a
gone
thing
now.
anymore.
Damn. No, Free Comic Day was sold to somebody. I remember that.
Somebody bought Free.
Was it?
Yeah, it was sold to somebody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there probably will be a Free Comic Book Day, but
it's gonna be different. But yeah.
So I was working on Molly Danger. I had the first like 25 pages worth of material. I knew that we could do a flip book with Princeless. So that's what that's what we arranged and we set up. We sold like 42,000 copies of the Molly Danger Princeless flip book for Free Comic Book Day. Like, it was a big deal.
Shout out to Jeremy Whitley, man. Jeremy, actually, I knew him before he was writing Princeless. He was working at a comic book shop here in North Carolina. So shout out to Jeremy, good guy.
I need to interrupt. Where the hell did you come from, Danny? Because this is not the same Danny asking questions 2 weeks ago. You take a week off and like everything's all serious and what the hell?
It's not serious at all. We got Jamal Igle here. I gotta step the game up. We gotta, we got actual history to talk about.
No, okay, fine. Before you get into history, I need to ask because we all know as creators there is a huge step between Marvel and DC and even Image to a degree to
Right.
maybe Dark Horse, Action Lab, or self-publishing. For you as a creator, what is the biggest difference when you're working with someone like a Marvel DC compared to Dark Horse?
Well, it depends.
Mm-hmm.
So you're really talking about working on brands versus working on your own projects. And that's basically what it is. When you're working for Marvel or DC, or if you're doing, so like, for example, I did the Terminator at Dark Horse years ago. And I've done like a few things here or there at Dark Horse other than Dudley Datsun, stuff that was not creator owned. So you're operating within the parameters of the company, what the editors want, what the publisher wants, what the vendor wants, what the licensor wants. So you're trying to do your best job under those circumstances. When you are going the independent route, you're working with smaller companies. There's a little bit more freedom, and I think it helps. My situation is arguably very, very different than a lot of people's situation because
Sure.
I've been in the game for so long, and I have a long list of credits, CV, whatever, but these are my projects. These are things that I have a vested interest in. These are things that are important to me, and in that case, even when I'm working with other people. So, for example, working with Kwanzaa on black and on white, or working with Tom Payer on The Wrong Earth, they are willing to give me the time to do things the way that I want to. They're willing to give me the latitude to experiment, and you don't always have that when you're working for for a larger company like DC. When I was at DC, even though I was very lucky that I had editors who were willing to let me do insane things like a double-page spread of the French military fighting Kryptonians, fighting Squad K in front of the Eiffel Tower, and letting me spend the better part of a week just getting that spread done. But those opportunities would come few and far between because you have to hit their deadlines. You have to hit their deadlines, and I was always very cognizant of that because people need to eat. And as the penciler, I am an important link in the chain, and if I fall apart, then people weren't everybody else down the line weren't getting paid. So I was always very cognizant of that. I'm still cognizant of that, but nowadays, I'm doing most of the line work myself, so I don't really have to worry about that. But I have a set schedule that I follow. I try to produce 4 pages of art every week. If I get lucky, I'll do 5. If I really skimp and then I really have to, I'll do 6. But it's usually I average about 4 every week, and I've been working that way for probably the last 10 years or so, give or take. But because I not insist, because I that makes it sound like I'm being pretentious, and I'm not. It's not that. But I'm very clear with my partners, with my creative partners, that this is what the time that I need to make things look the way that I want them to look.
I'll say, and that's a good thing. Like clear communication. I've had, as an indie creator, I've had people overpromise and underdeliver a lot, and but thankfully,
oh, no problem. I was just going to say I try very hard not to make promises I can't keep.
yeah. So now I'm working with Kyron, and Kyron is always on time. So that's
very cool. Good to know.
Kyron, there's 2 people in indie comics. I always say, Wally McNair and Kyron Silva. They have never missed a deadline and never told me that they could do something that they couldn't do. And I will work with them. I will pay them as long as I make comics, for sure.
Just want to let you know my rate's going up next year. Inflation.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll pay it. It don't matter. But yeah, so that's awesome. So Kyron, you got any more questions before quick takes? I got one more thing.
Go ahead.
I got one more thing. So, in your professional opinion, Mr. Igle, as someone who's drawn many things, do you think it's more difficult to draw a corgi like this corgi that you drew in this amazing comic book series,
right,
or a horse, like corgis or horses?
Corgis are a pain in the ass. Corgis are a pain in the ass to draw. Corgis should not exist. It's like sticking the head of a German Shepherd on a lima bean.
Okay, so if my artist complains about horses in the Western comic that he draws, I'll just refer him to you. Is what
exactly.
You heard that? Kyron? You heard that, Kyron? I just want to make sure.
If you end up adding a corgi to Battle of the Black Rose issue 3 for no reason,
I'm putting a corgi in the Wild West. I'm making it happen. No, okay.
Kyron, just remember, German Shepherd, lima bean.
Okay, got it. German Shepherd, lima bean. Got it. Okay.
There you go. Okay. Now, Kyron, if you're ready, it's time for quick takes.
I'm really not ready, but all right.
Quick takes.
All right. If you haven't seen the show before, Quick Takes is a rapid Q&A session where we grill our guests on their deepest, darkest secrets from the internet. I'm just waiting. This is going to be a nice, friendly session where we just ask you a couple of questions to get to know you a little bit better. So you're going to have 45. So we're going to ask you 5 questions. You're going to have 45 seconds each to answer them off the top of your head. Here we go. Question number 1. I once heard you talking about breaking the toys and putting them back together,
right,
when you're working for brands, basically. I want to know, which one is your favorite part, though? Breaking the toys or putting them back together, and why?
Ooh, definitely breaking the toys, because you want to, surmount expectations. And I think, the best example of that for me of the stuff that I've done for like DC, for example, working on Supergirl was like a really big thing because Sterling Gates and I came in with this mandate that we needed to sort of reset the character from where they had left her, which was, you know, a 40-year-old guy's idea of an edgy teenage girl, and really sort of like, you know, people embraced it and really dug it. So I'm good with that.
I love it. I love it.
Okay.
Okay. Question number 2. I hear that you're a big wrestling fan,
Mm-hmm.
and I wonder, as a comic book creator and a person who's created many characters, what kind of character would you create as a wrestler? Like as somebody who is either WCW, AEW, or whoever. What kind of wrestling character would you create?
What?
You do know WCW is like been like 30
I don't. I don't know. I don't know, Kyrie. You know I don't watch
All right.
wrestling.
I just want to make sure.
I only know Stone Cold and The Rock. That's
You
it.
could have said ROH. You could have said
I don't
WWE,
know.
AEW.
Yeah.
You could have said New Japan. Oh, sorry. All right, go ahead.
So I've had this idea in my head that if I were a wrestler, for example, my wrestling. Okay, first his name Adam Kestrel,
Adam Kestrel.
and he
Okay.
referred to himself as the Angel of Death.
Okay.
And his tag would be I'm stealing this one. Your Angel of Death awaits.
Okay.
So that, yeah, definitely a heel, like heel
What kind of
wrestler.
wrestler is he though? Is he technician? Is he high flyer? What?
Oh no, he's a technician. He's
a technician?
He's mat-based technician.
Okay. All right.
So we do have a semi-professional wrestler on the podcast. Kyron was the what was it? I don't even want to say it because it's gonna be racist. He was a luchador, but what was your name though?
El Negro Loco.
Well, you know what? It's not worse than Grande Americano or El Generico.
Grande Americano is fantastic right now. What they've done with that character is amazing for me. El Generico is stupid though.
Yeah.
But my
hilarious.
my name also because my brother was a Flaco Loco. We were part of the Loco family.
Okay.
We were part of also the Lucha Libre Mafia. Now,
We're still trying to find those videos.
No, we are not. I am not trying to find those videos.
Question number
question 3.
Oh, okay. So one of the things I heard, I think this was in an interview online. I saw you talking about post-it note storyboarding.
Yes.
And how that kind of helped you as a comic creator. Can you talk a little bit to audience about post-it note storyboarding?
Okay, so this was something that I was doing when I was working at Sony Animation, and we were doing storyboards on Roughneck, Starship Trooper Chronicles, and the original Max Steel cartoon. So what we were doing is we were taking normal 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper that were gridded out to 8 sheets, and we were working on 2x2 post-it notes. And because we were working that way, we were able to swap scenes around, we were able to move stuff around, we were able to take things away and redraw things quickly. Then we would match it with the timing for the dialogue for the show, and then send it to the finishers and the animatics so they could send those boards to Korea to be animated in CGI.
Okay.
See. That's a good way. See, I'm not an artist. I only draw pinups and do lettering, graphic design. But I think I did hear you say that it helped you better with drawing smaller, or you're drawing smaller for your layouts or something.
Well, drawing smaller for my layouts, but the other thing that helped was because I didn't have to draw anything on model. I was just doing camera movements, and it was basically pure storytelling. So it really sort of helped me formulate a lot of the current ideas that I apply to my own work in terms of like character direction and composition and layout and everything. So
real quickly, this is not a part of Quick Takes, but since you brought this up, you worked on Max Steel. Danny is doing a top 100 comic book movie list. Would you consider Max Steel a comic book movie?
Max Steel, what the Nickelodeon one that they did? No, no, not
Thank you.
really.
Thank you.
There was a comic book
But it was
that
made.
came
The
out.
comic book came after the fact. It's more of a
Fine,
toy.
fine. I'll take it
It's
off my
more of a
list.
toy tie-in
I'll
than a
take it off the
comic
list.
book.
Then. I'll take it off the list. Kyron has gotten on me ever since I made that video. It was 3 weeks ago, Kyron. Let it go. I'm gonna take it off the list. Okay.
I'm still getting on you that Madam Web's even in the top 100. But moving on to question 4.
Wow,
I
that's
can't have Max
bold.
Steel in here now. So come on now, geez.
That is
God,
bold.
it's 100 spots. Okay. So question number 4. I want to know what percentage of creators today do you think were inspired by Superman?
Everybody. I don't care. I don't care. If you don't say that you were, you're lying to yourself, because Superman is literally the most well-known comic book superhero of all time. Like, there is not a single person who hasn't even been a little bit influenced by some piece of Superman media that they have seen somewhere along the lines, whether it's, the TV series, the cartoons, the 78 movie, Man of Steel, Superman 2025, Superman and Lois, Smallville, Lois and Clark. Doesn't matter.
It was Smallville for me, for sure. But yeah, that's a common thing that I'm hearing from a lot of comic book creators. Like, Superman has been like one of the defining moments in their decision to make comic books.
Oh yeah, but I think Superman as a character is in that sort of same rarefied air as Dracula and Sherlock Holmes. Like, it's he's grown outside of the parameters of a specific media. And there are very few characters that you can say have had that sort of longevity or that effect on popular culture in general. Because even when people are making fun of superheroes, it's a version of Superman more often than not.
Yep.
Yeah. That's true. All right. Question number 5. We always have our guests do a top 5 list off the top of their head. And I figured, since you've worked in so many places in comic books, I want you to rank your top 5 jobs in comics.
Ooh, top 5 jobs in comics. So, not including stuff that I've done, or
no, I mean just like positions, like marketing, storyboarding, editor, artist, writer. Like,
oh god. I mean, obviously, artist is number one, but of other things that I've done, so marketing director, that was fun. I'd put that at like number 3, but that's for me. I made that a creative job. Editor, number 5. I hated being an editor. I loved it and hated it at the same time. Least, like, good job, least favorite job in comics. Colorist, number 2. Inker, number 4. So there's my 5.
The writer didn't even make the list.
Yeah, I was gonna say writer wasn't even on the list, man.
No, listen. No.
I don't want to make comics anymore.
Here's the thing. I love being a writer. I do. But I don't consider myself a writer in the same way that you might consider yourself a writer, because I don't write enough regularly. I don't write as much as I would like to. So,
but Jamal, I think so. From my perspective as a writer, I read Dudley Dotson, right?
Right.
And there's a character design part where this young man has the Dwayne Wayne glasses, right?
Yes.
Do you want me to bring that up a little bit better?
Now,
this one?
That might not necessarily, but that became part of the story because those glasses had a use, right?
Yes.
Those glasses, he flips them down and he can see.
Yes.
I don't want to spoil it for people, but he can see the specs of the enemy character that came in. And maybe you might see that as part of the character creation process, but I see that because it's part of the story, that is a writer's job.
Right.
Like to
No,
create the back.
I agree, and I think that, particularly with Dudley, and particularly with The Wrong Earth, my relationship with both Tom on Wrong Earth and Scott on Dudley, there's a lot of back and forth.
Mhm.
You
I can't see
know,
Scott coming up with the. I mean, I don't know Scott. I don't want to
Wow.
or-
I want to prejudge, but
no, that
I
was
can't see
definitely
him.
no, that was definitely no.
Scott
There
can't.
was
Scott can't be in a different world.
Hey,
no,
I just
no, that was
He
that.
grew up in that era.
No, but that was that was something that was always part of my calculus. That was like one of the things that I brought
Mhm.
to the project. The ideas that I brought to the project. Making Daedalus a corgi initially. Was my idea as well.
and
The
then him
look,
changing.
like the look of everything, even the little touches, the broad strokes were there, but it was a collaborative thing. And then like the same thing with The Wrong Earth is, me making my contributions to the story in little ways visually, but also talking things through, talking plot ideas through. So so when I say I don't consider myself a writer, it's only because I don't consider myself a writer. It's not my profession
Mhm.
at the
I
moment.
understand.
My profession, primarily is artist, writer. That's side gig is being a writer. But it's also something that I had to force my way into,
Mhm.
because it was something that I had put aside for a very long time, and then towards the end of my tenure at DC, I was trying to pitch stories, and I was specifically picking books that were about to be canceled because I figured, hey, they might give me a chance, but it never came through. So when I did Molly Danger, that was me saying, me flexing a little bit, going, hey, listen, I was a writer, I was a copywriter, I worked in advertising, like I've written comics, I've written screenplays, and I've written stories before. Let me show you what I can do. So, and then from that, when the opportunities have come up, I have taken advantage of them. I have done some short stories, and I've done other projects, but my contributions to my regular gigs, is it's a contribution. It's a back and forth. It's a give and take. So that's why I say that I don't consider myself to be a professional writer. But yeah, I'm a writer. I enjoy writing. That's
I see. I'm just saying. I see your imprint all over the story. So, but anyway, yeah, I understand. I understand. Well, we appreciate you doing that. This week, Quick Takes is brought to you by Gemini Comic Supply. If you use the promo code AceBlade at checkout, you'll get 10% off your entire order. You know what? Actually, question number 6.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Question number 6.
You can't.
No,
No,
yeah. Question number 6.
No.
If I want you to put your marketing hat on real quick,
Okay.
and just say that maybe you had a Kickstarter that had 5 days left, and you wanted to get as many eyes on that Kickstarter.
What's the Kickstarter about?
You've already hit
give them a premise
the
of what it's
Kickstarter.
about.
The Kickstarter is about a family starting a new life in the Wild West when a strange entity in the hills behind their home, takes over their daughter's body and kills someone. Okay.
Right.
And Kyron just happens to be drawing this book, and we got the first 2 issues. What would your marketing advice be to get as many eyes on the project
Well,
as
that's
possible
real.
in the last
That
5 days?
well, that's a really hard thing because you have the Kickstarter lull in the middle of the campaign. That always kind of like you know makes
Yeah.
things dip
Yes,
extremely.
it
That
does every time.
that's sort of the time when you really need to sort of double down and try to get as much media and press going as humanly possible within reason. And it's a little bit harder now because the landscape of comics media isn't the same as it was even a few years ago.
Right.
So um, trying to get eyes, trying to set up press releases, trying to set up podcast interviews, try doing whatever you can to really just kind of almost annoy people to death at that point. Like really just sort of like multi, do like I would say time like 4 Twitter thread, Blue Sky messages per day for the last 5 days. Really, like try to see if you can get some last minute interviews going. Like, yeah, exactly.
Hey, Jamal gave me permission. I don't have to just bug people these last couple
No,
days.
you
We're gonna
have
make it
you
happen.
have to you have to make as much noise as possible because it's a very crowded market.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate you doing that. And impromptu, the question 6. We've never had have we had a question 6 before?
No, we've never had a question 6 before.
No, we appreciate you doing that for us.
You're lucky this is the season finale. So.
No problem.
That's right. All right, Kyron, back to you, man.
I know. Jamal, this has been amazing. I wish we had more time because we didn't even really get to talk about what you're coming up in the future with.
Well, I'm always happy to come back. So
don't do that because I will inbox you right now. Set you up for to be our first interview in January. So don't.
We gotta have him back in February for Black History Month. We just learned it. Come on now,
Okay.
Get it together, Kyron.
70% of the guests we have on are Black. We can't say them all for Black History Month.
That's very true. That is very true. Also.
But we do want to make sure that our our listeners, and our viewers follow you and keep up with your work. So where's the best place online for them to do that?
Best place online to find me, I'm on Threads and on Blue Sky as Jamal Igle. I am on Instagram as Jamal Igle Comics, and you can follow me at jamaligle.com.
Nice. All right. Danny, where's the best place for people to follow you and keep up with you?
Best place to follow me is our website, fourthwallpros.com. Of course, the Kickstarter is going for 5 more days. But if you want to find me on social media, it's at the Ace Blade on all social media platforms. Kyron, where can people find you, sir?
You have a Kickstarter going? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Is it Battle of the Black Rose issues 1 and 2?
Yes, it is.
Only has 5 more days left. Is that what we're talking about here? Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. And people can find that on Kickstarter by just searching Battle of the Black Rose, right?
Shout out to Manny. And Stephanie Williams also. She was actually on the panel that when I met you at Hero. So
shout
out to
I
Manny
remember.
Williams in
Yeah.
the comments. Yeah.
So many. People can find me at tauruscomics.com. I am on all social media platforms at Taurus Comics. If this is the first time you ever checked out this podcast, you can go to our website, fourtalespodcast.com. That is the number 4, TALES podcast. You can listen to our previous episodes like the ones with Stephanie Williams. Buy us merchandise, support us that way. This, though, is the last interview for the season. As you guys know, we don't do anything in December. Danny and I will be back next week Friday as we play our last Fortnite Friday. Possibly we might hop on throughout the month of December just to play. But if you guys want to watch us live, join us back next week after Thanksgiving. Watch me lose at Fortnite again. Watch Danny carry me. As always, we might have to invite other people to join us. So that way you have a better chance of winning.
No, man, it's fun. It's fun just playing with me and you. I don't mind it. I don't mind losing. I'm not. Well, yeah. Anyways,
that's the show. Everybody, sayonara. Please take care of yourselves. Sayonara. Goodbye.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.